Hello, Teacher Tina here. I've helped a lot of teachers over the years with their VIPKid profiles. And at the end of the day, I think every mistake that a teacher makes boils down to one thing. That teacher is not thinking about what the customer wants. The teacher's only thinking, hey, I like that. That sounds like my Facebook profile, and I like that, right? This is not about you. Your profile is not about you. I know that's kind of counterintuitive, but hear me out. Your profile is essentially your only great marketing tool for new students, right? So we can talk all day about how you can keep your students coming back. I have some videos on that. But when we're talking about attracting new students, we've got to get that profile in line. We've got to. So let's talk about it. We're going to go through and talk about the main profile parts and what you can do to make them top notch. So first we'll talk about your main profile picture, then your two casual pictures, then your video and your written description, and we'll briefly touch on those teacher tags as well. So back it up a second. We were talking about customers, right? The main issue, people not thinking about their customer, not using this as a marketing tool. This is a big deal, you guys. So, who is our customer in VIPKid? Is it VIPKid? No. I want you to think of VIPKid as the vehicle between you and your students, right? So VIPKid is not your customer. Your student is your customer. And behind every student is a paying parent. So really, at the end of the day, you have two customers that you're trying to attract, the student and the parent. So, little activity for you. You don't have to do it now, but you can if you want to, if you've got a note card handy or something like this. So I want you to grab a note card. I'm sorry it looks so white in this lighting, but you're going to grab a note card. What I want you to do with that note card is I want you to actually sit down for a minute and think about who is my ideal student. Like, I want you to think of one student. I know it's really tempting to be like, I want all the students, any student that comes to me. But when you are not specific in who you're trying to attract, you attract no one, right? Super vague things do not attract anybody. Same thing on YouTube. If you're making a video just about something really vague, nobody's looking for that. Okay, so anyway, I digress. You want to be very specific. Just think about one student you would want to attract. So, for example, on mine, I have my ideal student is Sophia. Sophia is 6 years old. So write down your student's age. What age would you most want to teach? And then your intermediate, beginner, advanced. I have intermediate English level, right? So this will kind of, in the future, when we're talking about this, this will kind of help you to decide how you're framing everything else in your profile. What level student do you want to attract? So beginner, intermediate, advanced, okay? And then on here I have that Sophia is talkative and energetic. So think about some personality traits of your student, okay? So if your student, maybe you would like to attract some more reserved students or more serious students, very focused learners, something like that, write that down on your note card. And then what your student likes or how your student learns. So I have on here loves props and TPR, okay? Loves props and TPR. Now, conveniently, like attracts like, and these pretty much describe how I like to teach. Okay, so we're going to kind of turn this on its head. Hopefully you did this activity or you'll do it later. Think about your student, okay, your ideal student. One student, just one. And give that student a name. It makes it a lot more real in your head. And then when you're going through your profile, you can think, would Sophia like this? Would this attract Sophia and Sophia's mom? Okay, so let's talk about that. So the first part of your profile that parents see and students see is your main profile picture. Okay, so if this is the first thing that parents see, it's one of the most important things, because if your main profile picture does not stand out to them, they're just going to scroll on by. Plenty of teachers to look at, nothing to see here, not that interesting. You don't want to be that teacher, right? So a couple of quick tips for that. Think about what is going to attract your student, right? You just made that note card. If your student loves TPR, maybe you could be looking energetic with your hands or something. Now, occasionally VIPKid will not allow profile pictures through if they're like too distracting or way too different from what other teachers have. But think about something that just would attract that ideal student you just wrote about. okay? Colorful is always good. Having some contrast is always good, right? So yeah, you don't want to blend into your background is basically what I'm saying. And then I just want to give you a little story. So my friend and former referral and assistant, she's like my right arm, her name is Lisa. And when she was getting hired for VIPKid, she had this amazing profile picture. It was like this glowing photo. I mean, this is something that you'd post on Instagram. It was beautiful, but she wasn't getting bookings. So literally the only thing she changed on her profile after a week was her main profile picture. She thought that that glamorous, beautiful picture was going to attract the parents because she liked it. Guess what? Parents didn't like it for whatever reason. So Lisa took a picture with her headset on in her classroom, posted that as her main profile picture, and bam, she got bookings. Now, we can never say for certainty what exactly it was that got you bookings, but that was the only thing she changed. So I'm inclined to think that had something to do with it. So anyway, just because you like a picture, remember, your ideal student and that student's parents may not like it. So you want to be flexible with what picture you choose. Okay, so that was your main profile picture. Let's talk about your 2 casual photos. So you get 2 casual photos, and remember I said you have 2 customers, your student and that student's parent. So in my mind, I'm thinking they each get 1, right? So I would recommend choosing one picture that will really attract your student, right? Maybe a picture of you with an animal or you with other kids or something like that, right? Something that the student would be like, that's really cool. And then the other picture, maybe something a little more professional. You know, they're called casual photos, but they don't have to be you just like hanging out on the couch, right? In fact, that's kind of not a great one. When we say casual, they're just not your main profile picture, okay? So some that I've found to be really successful for people have been like recent college graduates, maybe you in your cap and gown with your degree in hand, right? Or maybe you in a business suit going and meeting somebody. Just keep in mind that whatever pictures you choose, you want to be the main focus of the picture, okay? So when I say that, I don't mean that it has to, be only you, but you don't want to have a picture of you with your whole choral ensemble, okay? We won't know who you are. Your parents who don't really know you yet won't be able to tell which one you are. So when you're thinking about which pictures you're choosing, I would suggest trying to think one for your student, one for your student's parents, okay? Yeah, so that's about it. The next one we're talking about is your video. Now, a lot of times people will reach out to me and they'll say, I know I need to do this video, but I'm really dragging my feet because I'm not techie and I don't know how to do all the edits that I see in people's videos on YouTube. Just stop right there. Think about the students and the parents you want to attract. I'm thinking that if somebody is really into technology and all the bells and whistles in their profile, that's probably how that person teaches too, right? That person may use special programs that make things pop up on the screen while they teach, things like that. I'm not that kind of teacher. I don't use fancy programs. So my profile video, which you can see on YouTube, I'll link it at the end, is very simple. I did it all in one take, just like I do most of my videos here. So you don't have to have bells and whistles if you're not a bells and whistles kind of person. Think again back to your student and your student's parents. Now, I think that the videos are really for both of them, but a lot of times the parents will let the kids watch it and say yay or nay before they move on to the next teacher. So you really want to be thinking about making sure your class is fun. Parents want your class to be productive, students want your class to be fun. So you want to really come with that fun angle, but make sure that the parents know that you can teach. So I suggest showing off that you can teach. Now, when parents are watching this video, the main thing that they're looking for is actually not something they're looking at. It's something they're hearing. They're trying to make sure that you can speak English clearly enough for their student, right? Enough for their child to understand you. So, coming back to my ideal student, Sophia, if she has an intermediate English level, I want to be sure that I'm appealing to that English level, right? I don't want to baby it, hello, my name, right? I don't need to do that for an intermediate level student, but I don't want to speak really fast and then they lose me altogether, right? I need to meet somewhere in the middle if I'm trying to attract an intermediate level student. So think about that. If you want to attract beginner level students, you can speak more slowly and make it more juvenile. If you want to attract more advanced students, don't be baby-like in your video. So always be thinking with your student in mind, and don't be afraid to show off a little bit of your teaching skill. So for example, if you're trying to attract beginner level students, it's cool if you hold up, a blend on a board and you're showing how you would teach that blend. That's awesome. It gives them insight into what it would actually be like to be your student. Okay, ideal video length, people often ask me that. I would say no more than 20 seconds. I know that doesn't sound like very much. Maybe it does sound like a lot to you, I don't know. But you can get a lot into 20 seconds. So I would say 15 to 25 seconds. I think 20-ish seconds is really that sweet spot. If it's much longer than that, parents may just see, hey, that's really long, I don't feel like watching that, and they might just click out. But you want to be sure that you give yourself enough time to display your skills. Okay, so we talked about your main profile picture and your 2 casual photos, and now we've talked about your video. Let's move on to your written bio description. Okay, so this is where I see a lot of the disconnect of people not really thinking about their customer. So you want to get out of your own head when you're writing your bio description, and a couple of pointers before we really jump into it. It will go through a translator. Okay, so it will go through a translator, translating it from English to Chinese so that parents can read it. So when you're writing it, you want to be really crystal clear, write short, simple sentences. It may feel choppy to you, that's okay. You'd rather it be choppy than it get all convoluted and confusing. And you can check that too. After you write it, you can run it through Google Translate or another translating service and then pop it back into English and make sure it didn't really lose the vibe that you were trying to go for. Okay, so what you should put in your bio description. Again, you're thinking about that customer, right? You're thinking about who you're attracting. But really, we have 2 customers, the parent and the student. Who's probably going to take the time to read your description? The parent. So this is where you really want to focus more on what those parents want. And in general, Chinese parents are the main parents in VIPKid, and they tend to be very, very I guess I should say, I don't really know how to say this. They tend to focus a lot on educational success, certificates, and experience. So even if you don't have the experience or you don't feel like you have enough experience, if you got hired, you do have enough experience. You just need to make sure that it sounds good. So when you're starting out your bio description, you can say something like, hello, my name is Teacher Tina, if you want. But I would say you mainly want to cut straight to it after that. So you can say things like, I went to Penn State University, whatever. You can say things like that. They can already see that in your profile though. So unless you're going to add a little bit to that, there's really no point. So if you wanted to say, I graduated with honors from Salisbury University, or I graduated at the top of my class from NYU, whatever like that, you can add that in. But freestanding, you don't really need to put just I attended this university. They can already see that. Okay, so if you're adding something back in, if you're repeating something, be sure you're emphasizing something about it. A big mistake that I see people make, this is my opinion, I think it's a mistake, is people will discount themselves. Okay, so some people just sell themselves short by not adding up all the experience that they have, and you like cumulatively giving it a number. Like I've been working with kids for 15 years because of babysitting, nannying, coaching, this, that, right? You want to do that, but I see people discount themselves all the time by saying things like, I may be a new teacher, but I love kids, right? Or I may not have traditional classroom experience, but I have tutored for a couple of years. Something like that. Get rid of that first statement. Get rid of it. Parents can read through the lines without you even having that statement. If they really want someone who has brick and mortar classroom experience, they'll look for that in your profile anyway. You don't need to dismiss it. You don't need to discount yourself. Don't allow for any extra doubt in the parents' minds that you're a confident teacher. Just don't do it. So you want to be sure that you're not selling yourself short, you're not discounting yourself, and be sure that you put the most relevant things to parents first. Remember, parents are paying a lot of money for these classes, so they want to be sure that that teacher is knowledgeable and capable. So you want to, if you want to expand on your education a little bit, you can. Be sure you cumulatively talk about how long you've been working with kids, and then anything else that you think is impressive. If you've gotten any special certifications, maybe you went for a TESOL course, right? You have an additional TESOL certification. By the way, if you're looking for a course, you can check in my description to this video below. I have a link for a discounted course for you. But anyway, put anything in there. Parents love extra certifications and things like that. And then you can put a little bit of personal stuff in there, just a little bit, right? The main gist of it should be why you are worth their money. And then at the end, you can make yourself relevant, relatable, that kind of thing. Maybe mentioning something about your family or your interests, because it might be kind of cool if a parent sees that you have, I don't know, a 10-year-old daughter, and that mom has a 10-year-old daughter. That might be kind of cool. The mom might think, oh, I bet she's great with 10-year-old kids. Something like that. So you can put some personal stuff in there too. Just focus on the real meat of it, okay? All right, so we have one more thing we're talking about, and that is teacher tags. We're just talking quickly about this. So you probably will not be able to see your teacher tags until everything in your profile has cleared. So you would go back and see this afterward. Hopefully in the future, they'll make that viewable earlier on in the hiring process. But anyway, your teacher tags are on your portal under My Info, and you get 6 of them. So they're either assigned to you by your interviewer or the person reviewing your demo, or by your mock class mentor, but then you can go in and kind of swap out what you want. So what I would recommend is, again, thinking about your student, thinking about little Sophia or whoever your student is, and what tags that parent of Sophia would want, right? So if you think Sophia is an energetic student, maybe you would want an energetic teacher. So you want to be sure you have that tag. Now, I do get this question sometimes. There is a tag called patient. And there is a theory going around that teachers who have patient on their profile tend to get more of the troublesome students. I don't know for sure that that's true, but if you're just trying to get any students, may not be a bad one to have. But if you find that you're getting some students you would rather not have on your schedule, maybe swap that one out. But you can change your tags, I think, every 30 days. This may have changed, but I think it's every 30 days you can change out your teacher tags. So when should you be changing other things in your profile? So a lot of parents choose to book for the following week on Monday at noon in Beijing. So that's kind of overnight for most of us in North America, overnight on Sunday into Monday. So what I would recommend is only change your profile, like especially your main pictures and things that take more time to like figure out what you want, maybe take some more pictures, only change those out once a week, because probably not a lot of parents are in there trying to decide on a new teacher during the week. Now, by all means, you may get some bookings throughout the week, but just know that many teachers or many parents will only go on once a week to do their bookings. So I would say don't waste your time doing it more than once a week. Swap things out, see what works. Okay, I hope this video has been really helpful to you and that it's helped you to really change your frame of mind into thinking about your customer and a little bit less about yourself. All right, so thank you so much for being here. I would love if you give this video a thumbs up if you learned something. Let me know what you learned too. I'd love to hear in the comments below. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I like to share all kinds of helpful tips for aspiring and current VIPKid teachers. I wish you all the best. Stay happy, stay healthy. Share this video if it was helpful to you. And thank you so much. Take care. Bye.